Today is Texas Independence Day, and as we celebrate here at 25 News, we also welcome back our very own Ann Harder.
That's right. After a year away, Ann will be with us from time to time to travel the state and tell all those Texas stories like only Ann does. Tonight, a story about how an army of people remind us each and every year of the sacrifice and hard work that makes Texas, Texas.
If you've ever been to the amusement park, you know there are 6 flags that have flown over Texas. But did you know there really are dozens and dozens of other flags that are associated with the state, like battle flags, this kind of gruesome severed arm, of course, the iconic "Come and Take It." And Stephen F. Austin had this suggestion for a state flag, very interesting, green and white and red stripes.
Of course, this is Charles B. Stewart, and these are his...
Pat SPACKEY, the great-great-great-granddaughter of Texas flag designer Charles B. Stewart, made the introduction for us. A pharmacist by trade, Stewart came to Texas from the Carolinas and documented life here in the early days.
In his day book, he wrote an account of how William B. Travis came through with a wagon load of supplies.
Stewart got more and more involved with the running of Texas, which at the time remained a part of Mexico. The family of descendants of the signers of the Texas Declaration keeps growing as more Texans discover their ties to those founders.
Where it comes into Fisher.
Take, for instance, Diane Kibido and her sister Donna, who discovered their link to Colin McKinney after a random comment their mother made.
In about 1986, she said, "Have you ever heard of Colin McKinney?" I said, "Who is that?" And she said, "You know McKinney, Texas?" And I said, "Yes." She said, "I think he's a grandfather."
Her research putting their family right in the middle of the Texas fight for independence from Mexico.
We are so proud of our ancestor. If he didn't make it down to Washington on the Brazos to sign the Texas Declaration, we wouldn't be standing here today.
It even turned up new relatives, like Kevin Hall, also a McKinney descendant. The family of signers of the Texas Declaration became a diverse one, as many Mexicans were unhappy with the administration of Texas.
I am a descendant of Francisco Ruiz. He's right here. So the Ruiz family, great to be a part and to put our history out there.
And the family of signers' descendants does grow bigger every year.
It's heritage and it's unity, and it's just love.
We're the granddaughters of Jesse Grimes.
The family extends also to Native Americans, whose agreement not to side with Mexico helped assure the birth of the Republic of Texas. Normally, the Texas Independence Day celebration is held each year at Washington on the Brazos. But because of COVID, it had to be canceled. Rather than do that, they decided to move it. What better place than to Montgomery County, which is the home base of Charles B. Stewart, one of the signers of the Texas Declaration of Independence. After all, Stewart became first to sign the document. He later became the Republic's first Secretary of State and served in 3 Texas legislatures.
And I was born in 1818 in Raleigh, North Carolina. And my father was W.W. Shepard.
Today, Pat SPACKEY and Jack Shepard portray Charles and Julia Stewart in reenactments, giving his role in Texas history living voice.
6 conventions he attended and signed all 4 major documents: the Declaration of Independence for the Republic of Texas, the Constitution, the annexation, and the secession documents. I don't know if any other person did that.
Each year, SPACKEY and Stewart join others reenacting the signing of the Texas Declaration.
A document was constructed for your approval.
Following those on stage, the family members get to sign a copy, and after that, any proud Texan can put down their John Hancock on the document that made Texas a nation. Work got started on a Texas flag. History teaches us Charles Stewart designed it, but in more recent years claims that Austin artist Peter Craig came up with the flag gained more traction. Definitive proof of the flag's design came from this unusual document from the Stewart family.
The original draft right here, signed upside down, before it was sketched by Peter Craig. So this has been in my family history and my family's trunks. So when we pulled out this trunk, we knew the story and the history books in the trunk.
signed upside down because Stewart passed the drawing across a table to President Mirabeau Lamar, who signed it without taking note of its orientation. Craig took the original drawing and made the first professional sketch of the Stewart design. If that didn't satisfy, Texas leaders put the whole thing into law.
Will you believe George Bush sort of settled that? House Bill 1123, signed by George W. Bush in 1997. He signed that, and it says, "We proclaim in this proclamation that Montgomery County is the birthplace of Texas, and that Charles Stewart designed it."
That's why organizers put so much into this Independence Day celebration, relating the story of the birth of Texas, a place like no other on earth.
I think every Texas Honor Day is so important, but this was just when Texas became Texas.